my name is Poke King, but you can just call me King. And today we are doing something a little bit different. We're gonna be reading fanfics today. So basically, if you don't know what fanfiction is, it is a story that a fan of a certain piece of media might write. So that might be about like movies, TV shows, video games, anime, pretty much anything. There is fanfiction of everything. Like, if it exists, there's probably at least one fanfic about that thing. So today we're going to be looking specifically at Pokemon fanfiction. Right now I have a website opened up here called AO3. Now if you don't know what AO3 is, that probably just means that you're not a fucking degenerate. But AO3 is, in my opinion, the best fanfiction site out there. As somebody who has been involved, we'll use that word, with fanfiction for over 10 years at this point, I will say that AO3 is probably the best one, mainly because of their filtering feature, so it's very easy to find specific works and good quality works on here as well. AO3 definitely has a little bit more customization for you to find exactly what you're looking for, and I just find that the works on here are a lot more professional. I don't know if that's the word I should use, but they're just better. I like this site the best for fanfiction. Today we are just going to be looking at some Pokemon fanfiction, doing a little bit of a read along, a story time. Put this on when you're going to bed if you want like a bedtime story read to you, nice like tuck you in, give you a glass of water, and read you trash. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that I am not here to make fun of people who write fanfics. As I said, I have been involved with fanfics for a very long time, so I'm not here to kind of like put people down who write fanfics or make fun of people for writing fanfics. I really think that writing fanfiction is such a good thing that you can do. It's an amazing hobby to kind of get you into writing and really work on your writing skills without being pressured by like grammar and specific plot elements, because fanfiction is something that's very casual. Kudos to everybody who is a fanfic writer. If your fic ends up being featured in this video and I like make fun of it subtly, just know that it comes from a good place. I'm not here to talk down to you, and the fact that anybody who fanfic I read today actually writes fanfiction is very honorable and respectable from me. So just want to put that out here. This is not to shit on fanfic writers. This is just to have a good time and look at some fanfics that I have not read yet. So I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and type in Pokemon in here. And we're just going to start with that general search. So right now on AO3, there are 63,000 works that have to do with Pokemon. So this could be Pokemon in general or just really anything, because I just typed the word in there generally. As this video goes on, I think that I'll probably narrow down our filters a little bit. Right now I have no filters on, so like pretty much anything is coming up. So the first fic that comes up when you type in Pokemon is tagged with graphic depictions of violence, disaster, and toilet, which I don't think that I'm ready to just start off the video with that, so I'm gonna keep looking and going down the list here. So here is one that I found called Just Pokemon. That's the title. It's Just Pokemon. It's tagged with the Twilight series and the description just says in 100 words. Now, I've never actually read Twilight or watched the movies or really have ever been into Twilight, so I think that this might be good for me as a kind of introduction to the series, especially if it has to do with Pokemon. It might pique my interest a little bit more. I don't know, something about like sparkly, dreamy vampires just didn't really do it for me. I prefer my vampires British and swearing.
Nando! There's a fucking ghost on the front lawn.
So this is titled Pokemon by Nilani. I hope I'm saying that right. It is also tagged as M/M, which is male/male, so this is going to be gay as fuck. I've never really understood his fascination with Pokemon. Neither the cartoons, which he religiously watches, nor the game itself. He plays all the time. It drives me nuts sometimes, but it's a part of him, so I deal with it. This is just actual dialogue that my boyfriend said to me like recently. Today, I plan on using it to my advantage. I hope. The show's over. My heart's beating rapidly. My palms are sweaty. Knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on a sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. And I'm nearly hyperventilating as I grab the ball and turn to him. His smile turns to a confused frown. He opens it, the paper slip popping out. He whispers the words, "I choose you. Marry me, Edward." Wait, whose point of view was this in? It doesn't say whose point of view this was in. Was this in Jacob's point of view? I really hope that Jacob just proposed to Edward with a Pokeball, and that's what this fic was. It doesn't say that, it just says M/M and really nothing else. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's Jacob and Edward. This was beautiful. I'm gonna leave a kudos. Because that was just a very broad search, what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go directly into the Pocket Monsters tag. So we're gonna go with Pocket Monsters, Pokemon, all media types. So this did narrow down the search to 56,000 works, so now we should just be getting fanfics that are set within the Pokemon universe. This fanfic is just called the Lego Movie +5. What the... Moving on. Okay, so I did actually manage to find this one here that kind of interested me. Now, it is labeled as mature, but the only thing that is tagged in here is graphic depictions of violence. It also has explicit language, but I feel like we'll be okay. It's called The Champion and the Thief Who Stole His Heart by Stardew Winks 779. And it is a Leon/original female character fanfic. And I love Leon, so I'm down to see what this is about. Alright, so here we go. The Champion, the Thief, and Who Stole His Heart. Not everybody is meant to get along. Oftentimes, people clash and trigger each other, even in the smallest ways. But is it possible for a rivalry, as fierce as this one, can bloom into something more? Perhaps friendship, romance, true love even? Only the universe knows for sure. The note here says that this is split up into 3 acts. I don't think that we're going to be reading all 3 acts today, unfortunately, but if you wanted to continue reading this, you definitely can on AO3. But we'll take a look and I'll see if the beginning really hooks me on this fanfic, and then we'll go from there. 3 months until Champion Leon's exhibition match. The tower was empty, deserted almost. Perfect. Of course, I couldn't have anyone seeing me as I snuck in, so I lurked in the shadows. Thankfully, my disguise would help with that. It was your everyday spy gear. Everyday spy gear? What? You're just wearing spy gear every day. It's just a casual spy gear. Black latex with a bandana around the bottom half of my face to conceal it. I had made a little disguise for Sylveon too. Ooh, Sylveon? The main character has a Sylveon? That slaps. I love Sylveon. I love this main character right now. A small black hat to cover her ears and a simple suit. Sylveon's in casual spy gear too? That slays. She was in on the plan too. She knew what we were after. Are they kidnapping Leon? We quietly crept around the dark hallways of the tower. I had to keep an eye out for the chairman. Rose, was it? If he caught me sneaking in, I was dead meat. You may be asking yourself what I'm after. Knowledge, perhaps? Artifacts? If I can get my hands on any. The Galar region is known for being the home to the ancient heroes, the ones who wielded the sword and the shield. It intrigues me. I want to know the full tale. Right from the horse's mouth. Okay, I'm gonna give like a really quick nitpick here, and I don't like, this isn't me singling out this author or anything like that, because other Pokemon fanfic authors do this. The problem with lines like this in Pokemon fanfic, specifically like this phrase, right from the horse's mouth, for example, it throws me out of the fanfic so quickly. If you are writing something that's supposed to be in the point of view of a character who has lived in the Pokemon universe and it is set in the Pokemon universe, then they would not say a phrase like right from the horse's mouth, because there aren't horses there. There is like Ponytas and Rapidashes, so it might be a phrase like right from the Rapidash's mouth, but they don't have horses or other animals. And this is not the first fanfic I've read where it has something like this. Like, I've read before, like, birds flew by my window. What do you mean? There's no birds in the Pokemon universe. There's like Pidgeys, there's Starlies. There's so many birds that you can pick from to have fly by your window. You can't just say birds, because in the Pokemon universe, there isn't just birds. There's Pokemon. And I know I'm just rambling and nobody cares, but like, make it make sense. I'm sorry. And again, this is not hate towards this author, because so many Pokemon fanfic authors do this. I know I'm being dramatic. I understand that, but I just wanted to bring that up because it bothers me. Because I'm a fucking nerd and I want to be immersed. This takes me out of the immersion. And what better place to look than the chairman's tower, full of important and hidden documents. Is she gonna find his nudes? I'm not from here. I left home a while ago. The most important things to me are my precious Sylveon and finding out about the sword and shield. Oh, me? You want to know who I am, dear reader? Aw, aren't you sweet? I may as well, since you're going to be following my journey. I am Liana. Now, why don't we get back to business? So there I was, sneaking around the shadows of the tower, careful to be quiet and stealthy. Sylveon was at my heels as I glanced around the dark hallways of this place. Occasionally, someone, perhaps a worker or security, would pass by, and I'd have to dart away to hide behind something. It's a miracle they haven't caught me. I thought you were wearing casual spy gear, though. Shouldn't you be hidden with that? The way you described it sounded like you're pretty hidden if it's like dark. I eventually came across a large door at the end of the hallway. I glanced to see if there were any markings on the door to perhaps indicate what was inside. All that read was, Chairman Rose's office. If I could go through some of these files, maybe it would help me with my mission. Why, like, I understand she's looking for, like, lore on Galar. Why would Chairman Rose have that information? Like, is there something I missed in the story where, like, Chairman Rose, like, knows all of the lore and that's just, like, wildly accepted? Like, he knows everything about the Galar region? I don't know, maybe I did miss something. I'm kind of an idiot. So, I began going through the drawers in his desk. So far, none of them seemed to contain important documents. Trinkets, papers, sticks of gum, even a bit of money, which I pocketed. Nice. Girl boss moment. Steal his money. Eat the rich. In one of the drawers, a Pokeball caught my eye. I scooped it up and placed it in my pocket. Could you imagine there's just like a Magikarp in there? Like, what a waste of time. You go like, I don't want to leave empty-handed. Give me this Pokeball, it's a fucking Magikarp. As the door opened, a man walked in and closed it behind him, not even glancing at me. I froze. Shit. Of course someone was bound to catch me. All right, Chairman, what did you want to talk to me about? I think this is Leon. I'm giving him a Valley Girl voice because why not? He went to walk in more, but his eyes quickly landed on me and were filled with confusion. He was quite tall, definitely taller than me anyways. His hair was also quite long. It was a muted purple in color, stuck out at almost every end, and went down a little past his shoulders. His skin was a sienna color, and I couldn't help but notice that he was more skinny and lanky than muscular. His golden eyes were doubted with confusion, looking me over. He seemed to be dressed in some sort of sport attire. Yeah, he doesn't wear casual spy gear. Sorry, he just doesn't really fit your fashion style, I guess. He had quite a strange fashion taste, and the giant cape didn't help his cape. What? Okay, I thought that was like a me issue, but it does say cape twice. I think that the writer might have meant case, not cape. His cap that rested atop his head seemed to have a crown pattern on it. Was he royal or just weird? Me! Who are you?
Wait a minute! Who are you?
He raised one hand to point a finger at me. How did you get in here? I didn't respond, still scared shitless. So instead, I hopped over the desk and darted right past him. I slammed the door open on my way out. I didn't even care how much noise it made. I just wanted to get out. He cried out behind me, "Hey, wait, get back here!" I ignored him. My new goal was to avoid him at all costs and get the fuck out of here. Okay, so I'm just kind of skimming some of it right now. But to kind of catch you up on what's going on, I'm pretty sure our main character is being captured. Like, she got caught when she was running away. And then Leon and her, like, having some very, like, witty banter back and forth. Now, okay, I don't know if this is Leon talking or not because, like, the past couple of paragraphs and lines have just said he, and I don't know, like, I'm assuming it's Leon, but I kind of like hope it's not because this line here says, "Sorry, little one, I know it's not comfy." That's not comfy. Here we're just like, so this is the first time that she hears somebody basically call Leon Leon, so now she knows who Leon is, and he's like talking to random guards in Chairman Rose's house, place? I don't know where they are. The chairman looked a bit surprised. "Leon, my dear boy, what happened?" Is that how the chairman talks? Is like, does he call Leon his dear boy? So the end of this then, I guess, so right here at the end here, the girl whose name I feel really bad for forgetting, but I forget her name. She is like captured, and then Leon is like talking to her and she gets Sylveon taken away or something. And then Leon's like, I'll be back soon, he says with a stern look on his face. And then he swished his cape behind him and walked away. He's so dramatic. That's ridiculous. That's like Megamind levels of showboating. But this was great. This was a great fanfic. I'll leave another kudos as well. 49 chapters of this. So I will not be reading the rest of it. But if you want to read the rest of it, here it is. Giving a nice shout out to Stardew Wink 779. Okay, so we are back in some tags, and when I was kind of scrolling through the other fanfics, I actually found the Guzma / original characters tag, specifically the Guzma / original female characters. Guzma is one of my favorite Pokemon characters, so I figured that we could look for a fanfic that will not get my YouTube video taken down. So we're gonna look in the Guzma tag here to see what we can find, because I want to read about Guzma. I don't know about y'all, but I want to read about Guzma. So this one doesn't have an E rating. It doesn't really look like it has a rating. It seems like it's kind of wholesome. It is Guzma and an original female character. Laudabelle submits a maternity leave in advance, and Guzma talks to Hala and How about his anxieties about being a first-time father. This is a Guzma's of Daddy fic. I think we're gonna have to read this. So this is By the Days Passing by Waddle__D. I love me some Kirby. Laudabelle dragged her hand down her face, looking over the email she had planned to send to Kukui for the third time, trying to make sure she didn't say anything too soon or wasn't too forward. She tried not to stress about it. It was bad for the baby. Burnett put 2 and 2 together about Laudabelle, but hadn't said anything per Laudabelle's rather insistent and frankly panicky request. Maya. Who's Maya? Is that like a character I don't know about? Like in Sun and Moon? I've never heard of Maya. Maya had finished the touches on Laudabelle's lab coat. The grunts always said it needed something special, and Laudabelle had given in after so much begging from them, and looked up to the rather exhausted looking professor looking over an email. You're gonna take forever to send that? Like, just send it and get it over with. Don't you have other things to work on? Laudabelle let out a loud sigh before making a rather stiff gesture with her hands. It's more than just an email. My Kukui knows about me and Guzma, but this is a whole new part of us being revealed. I have to make sure this email conveys my message right. You wouldn't believe the pressure Guzma and I felt trying to tell Team Skull. I'm just like imagining, and I understand that Guzma and Team Skull are very like close-knit, like I understand that, but I'm just imagining Guzma kind of like gathering all of his Team Skull grunts and standing like in front of them and being like, attention, we are with child. Like, I don't know. Maya got up, wiping some fabric paint off of her skin before setting her hands on the professor's shoulders. Look, you're stressing, and it ain't good for the baby. Send it, and then go do your research or whatever. You can deal with Kukui and his response later, aight? Laudabelle sighed before clicking send on the email. Good. Now, wanna get lunch or something? You eatin' for 2 now, so we gotta keep you up and running. I don't know what this voice is, but I'm imagining that's how this Maya person talks. Maya tugged Laudabelle out of her seat and tossed her a spare lab coat. You should get some malasadas. You need 'em. Come on. Laudabelle let out an exhausted chuckle as Maya tugged her out of the office. Later, at an in-lab cafe. Okay, so this get your mind off things, Maya asked, finishing her sandwich. I thought they were getting malasadas. Laudabelle nodded, visibly relaxed, enjoying her soup. Where are the malasadas? I was promised malasadas and I did not get any. What is this? Hello? You and boss got any names yet? Laudabelle shook her head before swallowing. I'm only 2 months pregnant, Maya. We aren't trying to rush anything. We might start with names in about 3 months, though. Laudabelle, I don't know about you, but I'm not even pregnant with Guzma's child, but I feel like I already have names picked out for me and Guzma's child. What? What about your folks? You said you were patching things up with them, specifically Lori, right? Do they know? Laudabelle nodded and making a slight face, remembering having to tell them. Lori was ecstatic, while Lexi was less than pleased, but congratulated them nonetheless, after attempting to attack Guzma. They said, this man ain't shit, Laudabelle. Get yourself a better man. And Guzma was like, no, please. We are with child. Laudabelle gathered the cardboard bowls and plates and threw them in the recycling bin. Her phone suddenly buzzed. She sat down and fished it out of her pocket, and her face dropped. It was Kukui, and he wanted a meeting with Laudabelle ASAP. You good, Professor? You good, Professor? Maya seemed genuinely concerned. Kukui wants to meet me ASAP. Laudabelle's tone was completely deadpan. Well, shit, what are you waiting for? Go, I'll meet ya in your office. Maya skedaddled off, and Laudabelle made a hasty move to Kukui's office. She took deep breaths as she speed walked to Kukui's office. So, you sent me an email for maternity leave, correct? Laudabelle couldn't read his tone, and it scared her as every worst case scenario flooded her mind. I feel like Professor Kukui is obviously Laudabelle's friend, but also he's her employer. Why is this like a problem? Like, I don't know. She seems very, very concerned about asking her boss for time off for maternity leave. Yes, sir, I did. Kukui turned on his heel as fast as he could and rushed towards Laudabelle, wrapping her in a hug. I'm so happy to hear this. He had a large smile on his face and tears streaming down his face. Yeah, see, he's just like proud of you, girl. I'm so happy to hear about this news. And as for your maternity leave, it's been approved. How are you and Guzma handling the news? Yeah, he's just like a super supportive guy. I don't know why she was like so scared about this. Laudabelle let out a relieved sigh and chuckled. We've been handling it fine, sir. Sure, the morning nausea and not being able to drink after a rough day is difficult. What the frick? I just was not expecting that line. Like, oh, you know, things have been going well, but I can't drink after work. I remember how it was when Brunette got pregnant. I should offer Guzma some advice on how to handle cravings and mood swings. Okay. Kukui's gonna sit down with Guzma and like just tell him how to be a father. I want to read that fanfic. Well, I should get going. I've got some documents on Ninetales' parental habits. I'll see you around, sir, Laudabelle said before walking off, significantly relieved at the revelation. Wow, that was so wholesome. I love to read that. It was very short and sweet. I think really sums this up. Oh, I forgot. I'll give them a kudos as well. So nice, good kudos for this person here. Beautiful fanfic. I loved reading it, and I hope that Laudabelle and Guzma live happily ever after with their child. So I think that we're gonna do one more fanfic for today. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna look for a ship fanfic that's not an original character one. We're gonna dive into some Pokemon ships, kind of the first ship that I like that piques my interest, and then we'll just read one of those fanfics. So let's go. Okay, so this is the last fanfic that we're gonna read. So I figured that I would be silly. I was looking at tags and I actually found a tag that was Adaman/Volo, which is a ship that I don't really ship, but I would be interested in like finding out a little bit more about the ship and like what people write about it. I'm in the tag. This tag is a little cursed, I'm not gonna lie. And the one tag in this that makes me laugh the most is Adaman doesn't quite understand gay. So I feel like this will be a fun one. I don't want this video to be taken down. I don't want to embarrass myself. So I'm just gonna read it, and yeah, we're just gonna jump into it. This fic is called A Good Salesman by Reda Willow. During the most dire of times, Adaman finds himself unable to sleep, and Volo offers his services to help him relax. While a bit skeptical, the Diamond Clan leader accepts his offer. So I'm assuming Volo's gonna like read him a bedtime story, and then maybe he'll be able to have like a good sleep or something. That's my predictions for this fic anyways. Volo sat by the quiet trickling stream, staring up at the green and red sky. It hadn't changed even in the slightest since the space-time rift had grown. giving little indication of either night or day. His thoughts swam, a mix of feelings that mirrored the chaotic sky above him. Earlier that day, he had borne witness to the Lost One, as Kogita so affectionately called them, opening a cavern into the unyielding rock that had lain in the center of Lake Verity for centuries. Can I just say that that opening line actually slapped? That was a 10 out of 10. I already love this. A smile came to his lips with practiced ease. Finally decided to join us, Mr. Leader? He asked of the man approaching. The new arrival frowned at him. I do have other business I need to attend to, even in times like these. My clan is in just as much of a panic as the Galaxy team. The only difference is that my clan has a reasonable leader. Ooh, Adamant, like coming for your ass, Volo. A chuckle left the blonde. I can't say you're wrong there. Adamant looked around them. Have they gone to bed? Our Lost One and Mistress Kogita? Afraid so, Volo replied. Maybe an hour ago? It is late after all, even if there's hardly any difference right now. I was afraid of that. He rubbed his forehead. I tried not to waste time, but even I'm starting to lose my grasp on it in these conditions. That had Volo smirking. Now there's impressive. I think it's supposed to say now that's impressive. Now this writing so far is probably the best writing I've read all day, so I'm not gonna give them too much shit, but that's a typo. Another frown. Quiet you. This just like makes me think of like The Simpsons.
That's right, Mr. Peabody. Quiet you.
Guess I'm sleeping here tonight. He kicked at the earth a bit before removing his coat, something that drew Volo's gaze. This is so gay. The blonde trailed his eyes over the man's strong arms that were scarred from years of living amongst ferocious wild Pokemon. Rather than fold his coat, Adamant began bundling the garment up. I'm exhausted, and I'd rather not see what the nights have for me in the wild right now. Perking up, Volo rose to his feet. Allow me to help. A good merchant always carries more supplies than he needs. The leader raised an eyebrow in skepticism. How much is this going to run me? This time, nothing at all. Consider it a favor from one friend to another in these dire times. Using the blonde supplies, the two men managed to create a couple of adequate beds for the night on the soft ground. Adamant situated his coat at the head of his and laid on his back, using it as a pillow. He breathed out a long sigh before resting his hands on his stomach and closing his eyes. He sat and removed his hat and his hair tie, shaking his head in order to let the long tresses fall over his shoulders. Now, does Volo have like that stupid haircut from the end of the game in this situation? Like the Arceus hair? Because if he does, that's gonna throw me out of this. I like Volo probably as much as the next person, but that haircut at the end of the game was so bad. And wait, Adamant's talking about his hair in the next sentence. What in Hizui happened to your hair? Literally me when I saw Volo without his freaking hat for the first time. He's just like me for real. Volo nearly jumped out of his skin and he turned a defensive smile at his companion. I could ask you the same thing. Don't go for Adamant's hair. Adamant is gorgeous. His hair suits him so well. Volo, shut the fuck up. Should have Arizu take a look at it for you. She's been learning about that stuff from them. Adamant's like, you need to see a different hairdresser. I'm gonna sleep. That was a lie. Okay, nighty night, sweet dreams. The man grunted his response. Volo watched him for a moment before laying down himself beside him. Adamant shifted again, causing him to once again snap out of it. Volo's curiosity had him turn to see what was going on. The leader had his eyes open again and was casting a deep scowl up at the discolored sky above him. Adam is mad about this guy. Everything okay? Besides the obvious, I mean, the blonde inquired. Adamant grunted again. Unfortunately, the obvious is the problem, he stated, gesturing to the sky. He sighed and rubbed his forehead again. I keep thinking about everything. I know our friend is capable, and Almighty Sinnoh knows I have a great amount of trust in them. They've already proven themselves by coming this far. But it feels like we're in the end times. After all, the next few days are either going to bring about our salvation, or they could very well bring about the end of everything. So while I'm exhausted at the moment, I can't relax. Here we go. Oh no. A thought occurred. Oh no. I'm gonna make it through this. A thought occurred to Volo. Despite often shrinking his duties in favor of exploring ruins, he was still a merchant of many things. Foraged plants and berries, Pokeballs, cakes, potions, cloths of all kinds, lantern oil, cookware, silverware, children's toys, anything he could get his hands on, really. Ginter had never assigned him a specific role as far as what he was supposed to be selling, probably due to the aforementioned duty shrinking. But as such, there were a few rare finds that he'd been keeping in his pack for quite a while, just waiting for the right person to come along and take them off his hands. It's a bedtime storybook, of course. That's what he's talking about. No thanks. I doubt you've anything that could actually do me any good. Short of a stone to the head, of course, which I would rather not receive. I like how adamant is written in this a lot. I wouldn't be so sure about not having something, Volo murmured. Sorry, one more time. The blonde shook his head. It's nothing. He eyed the other man, taking in his muscled and scarred form. Well, if an item won't suit your needs, then perhaps I could offer you a service of some sort. A good peddler knows when his best business venture is not materialistic after all. The other man quirked. He's quirky. Adamant does get a bit quirky at night. I already said I'd rather not get a stone to the head. Just what kind of service could you give me? This is embarrassing. No, he's just reading a book. I can think of a few I'd be willing to give a man like yourself, he smirked. That gave Adamant pause, taking a second to read between the lines of the blonde's offer. You do... Oh my god. You do know I'm a man, yes. He said, dude, this is a little homo. And then Volo's like, no homo, I promise. Volo grinned innocently. Is that not what I just said? And unless I've been sorely mistaken this whole time, you're also a man. That is correct. Oh god damn it. I'm strong, I can do this. If any VR can read fanfics, so can I, okay? Latinos supporting and being there for Latinos reading fanfics. Let's go, I can do this! Another pause. In other words, we're both men. That is what we just established, yes. And yet you're... Is there a problem with that? Volo said gay rights. I like that. I love that. A third pause. Adamant sat up and breathed a heavy sigh. You know, I've known that Melly, wow. Adamant's like, listen, I know Melly is gay, but I don't know if I am. And I'm like 99.9% sure Melly probably didn't even say anything to Adamant. Adamant's just like, he's a little fruity. Well, if you want my take on it, I've personally never been bothered by such things as man or woman, he shrugged. Volo said pansexual rights, we love to see it. More to the point though, it is like you said, we could very well be in the end of days. If there was ever a time to try new things, it would be now, wouldn't it? Okay. But how do I even know that what you would give me is worth 500? 500 nothing. There's like dollars, yen, we don't know. It's just 500. Well, look at you, trying to get free samples out of me. Hardly, Adamant scoffed again. Rather, I have my doubts that anything from another man has any value to me at all, even if it does come so cheap. Volo eyed him for a moment before grinning again. We can always go back to talking about goods then. I do have some things one could use to help themselves relax. A storybook. That's what I've been saying this whole time. I'm holding out on my predictions. Oh, no, not tea. Here, oh, I missed a line. I'm not interested in tea or anything like that. Not at a time like this. I'm losing my mind. I read ahead. Never read ahead. I read ahead. His innocent little smile returned to his face, and he looked back at Adaman before revealing the item with a flourish. The look of shock that it was met with, along with Adaman's sputtering, was well worth the moments it took to locate the item. I'm sure you could tell what this is used for, the blonde laughed, waggling the rubber object in his hand. Oh my god, he's giving him a rubber duck so we can have it in the bath and then become Ernie and like sing the rubber ducky song. That's a great way to relax when the world is ending. That's definitely what's happening here. Volo's fingertips brushed against the leader's legs and trailed upward. Oh no! Well, that is the end of this video. If you like this video, I don't know, let me know in the comments if you want me to read more fanfics. I'm literally like screaming. I think I started to lose my mind as we continue to read that fanfic. Once again, I just want to give a disclaimer that this was no hate to any fanfic writers at all. I think that the fanfics that we read today, as much as I kind of like laughed and giggled about them, were really interesting and I really did like them. So kudos to all of the fanfic authors that we read today. And yeah, that's it. I don't know what this video was. Hopefully at least you like got a laugh out of it or something. Okay, that's it. I forgot how to do my outro. Something. I try to post videos on Tuesdays. I'm not very good at that. I've been very busy lately, but I'm trying to get back on my posting schedule. So yeah, like, subscribe, I don't know. Unsubscribe from my channel after this video, to be honest. That's all. Goodbye.